Hello and welcome to IMHO. Today I'm speaking to Patrick Stox about inclusion in LLM discovery engines. Patrick is product advisor, technical SEO, and brand ambassador at Ahrefs. I was going to start this episode by talking about the divided line on social media in the industry between those who think optimizing for AI is totally separate to SEO and those who think that LLM discovery is just SEO, and how SEO is adapting and evolving as it always does. But then when I was doing my research, I saw your recent podcast with Tim, and he'd asked you exactly the same question. So I thought, let's just cut through all the noise and agree LLM inclusion is now a part of SEO discovery. So, how do you actually see the structure of the discovery journey? And is Google just the bottom of the funnel channel? And how do you think the search journey now works?
I think Google's still everything for most people. The LLMs are the AI assistants. I think most of the people that are using that are like tech forward, but the majority of folks are still just Googling things and going through. It's starting to shift, but I don't think it's there yet.
I actually picked up, I was looking again, doing research for this episode, and I found some recent data from Ahrefs. I just wanted to add a disclaimer: this is quite limited data that you ran, but it does show that Google owns an estimated 40% of all traffic to websites, around that figure. Do you think Google's relevance is going to decrease more, or do you think they'll pull it back with a full AI mode experience?
Yeah, I'm not betting against Google. I think they're down maybe a couple percent this year. But the LLM traffic, Google's still 40%. I think if you add up all the LLMs combined, it's still less than 1%. Chat GPT, I think, is like 0.3% or something. So it's maybe shifting a bit, but Google is also on the bleeding edge with like Gemini and everything. AI mode, they could roll that out tomorrow, and then I don't know. Like it's one of those things where when all these came out, started using Chat GPT, Claude, kind of back to using just like AI mode and Gemini now. So even I just went back to Google, and I think we're gonna see more of that as they improve their systems. They've got more data than anyone, so I'm not betting against them.
Having a look at with the attribution of LLMs, which is, it's still a very grey area. I mean, I know that SEJ, we're starting to get quite a lot of traffic referral from LLMs, and I'm sure probably you are as well at Ahrefs. Have you actually managed to establish any direct attribution to value from being visible in LLMs yet?
Obviously, like you can measure how often you're mentioned versus competitors and blah blah blah, but it's going back to a business, I can't report all that stuff. Like I can show them that, but it's all secondary, tertiary metrics. Um, I wouldn't show it like I'm still as close to revenue as I can come. Like if I've got it tied into a CRM and I can actually report like, hey, I got the sales from here, here's how much they were worth, or as close as I can get to that, or like, customer lifetime value or SQLs, MQLs, like those are the numbers that people really care about, like conversions at least if you got that. Um, but yeah, there's no if it's you got mentioned and then someone went and bought it, there's no real way to tie that back.
Are you actually heavily investing in LLM inclusion?
I mean, yeah, for sure. We have set up a number of different things. I don't know how much I can even talk about. Well, we're doing things that we haven't done before. We're trying to be a lot more specific on like what we actually do, the data we have. We're setting up now some comparison, like competitor pages, because we want to like have our narrative out there because there's a lot of info in these systems that is wrong, outdated, that kind of thing. So I'm hoping they come to us, look at us as the source of truth about Ahrefs, and then we'll include that. Um, yeah, I hate to say it, but like listicles, they work right now. I don't think it's future proof at all. But at the same time, like I don't want to just not be there. So listicles. Uh, more diversification, video, social, all kinds of stuff.
Okay, so I mean, what do you think are the critical element? Well, what have you found so far are the critical elements for LLM inclusion? What is actually working? I mean, obviously, other than the things you've just mentioned.
Yeah, it's so I don't know if you do this, but like we have the search engine and like I actually like help on a lot of that too. And basically it almost comes down to two things, like repetition. Like you want to have the same messaging kind of across a bunch of different websites. Like whatever the internet says, that's kind of what's being returned in these systems. So you kind of have to say like the same things that are, if it's an informational article, like common knowledge, if it's, you know, I want to say that like Ahrefs is a digital marketing platform, blah, blah, blah. I need that everywhere. Traditionally we were just SEO, but we've gone wider. And these systems still say like you're SEO, and it's because we haven't really like spread the word ourselves that like we do a lot more now. And then saying something different is also something that really works. So that information gain in these systems. We've been doing tons and tons and tons of data studies this year. We're even doing this, we're seeing really good success with this in other languages, like unique data studies for non-English languages. This data is being heavily cited, heavily returned in these systems because there's nothing else out there like it. So it's a good thing for the systems to useful to users, and it's something that they'll just pick up and pull in pretty easily.
Have you been able to correlate that with any kind of uplift in signups, or are you measuring your brand awareness? That's part of the tool now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. With brand radar, we have that. We can see it versus competitors, everything. We did track the signups. When I first looked at this data back in, what was that, like July? All the traffic from AI search was like 0.5% of our traffic total. But at the time, it was like 12.1% of our conversions, total conversions,
Wow.
which was pretty impressive. Like actually, that statistic, I put it out on the blog. It got picked up. Like that, I
Yeah.
think was one of our two most cited blog posts, along with the AI overviews, reduced clicks like 34.5%. So again, those kind of data things really get picked up in these systems, really get cited, and lead to traffic to the blogs or to the site in general. But yeah, I think that's fallen off. I looked again maybe a couple months ago, and it was I think under 10% of the conversions, but a little more in the traffic now.
Yeah. Um, I just wanted to have a chat with you about agentic uh, AI. And as LLMs and agents develop, and more potentially more information is going to be uh, pulled to these sort of closed agents and systems. And what I mean by that is potentially a booking system where a travel agent might book a full travel experience, and it could be pulling from public data, or it could also eventually be pulling from closed APIs or closed connections with partnerships with people. We're starting to see partnerships now with some publishing companies that are cutting deals. What do you think? Do you think there's anything we can do now to ensure that we're included in those open/closed systems? Or is this something, I mean, does this concern you, potentially the development of this happening?
Yeah, it's gonna consolidate everything at the top. I mean, ChatGPT isn't gonna make a deal with anyone that's like not a known, if they're gonna book flights, they're gonna do it through a certain people. If they're gonna pull in,
Yeah.
dictionary data, they're gonna go to one dictionary, and there's a bunch of them out there. So if any deals they make will be with larger companies, and that will create a lot of I don't want to call them losers, but it's going to hurt a lot of other companies and a lot of smaller players. If they decide we're going to do checkout but only do it through Amazon, well, there's a lot of stores out there that are suddenly going to lose a lot of sales. So I hope it doesn't go closed like that, but yeah, it's already happening with publishers, like you said. It probably will happen with other things, the checkout stuff. Well, they've kind of gone like open on the checkout so far, but that's not to say that another system won't decide to just like, oh, we only want Amazon or whatever. So there's a lot of risks there. And I don't know that there's much you can do other than try and grow your business and be more visible. Like make them, what was the thing they used to say for Google? Make them embarrassed to not have you included.
Yeah, it's quite an unfair bias. I do feel like potentially things might go back to how they were in, say, the 80s and early 90s, where it was homogenized high streets and it's only very large name brands that could actually be afford to have a position in those high streets, and small independents had all but disappeared. So yeah, it feels like we're almost going back to that point. I mean, if this does happen, or we're obviously moving this direction, what other channels do you think the SEOs should be focusing on right now, alongside LLM optimization? Which do you think are the most important that can have the most influence?
Yeah, YouTube videos for sure. But not just like YouTube, but now you have short form videos with TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat Reels. Everyone's got short form videos. And long form videos are still pretty popular too. I think I said like during the Ahrefs Evolve presentation, I was making a point that I literally reiterated it. It's not ChatGPT that's the second largest search engine. It's still YouTube by far. So video, social, any communities, everyone's spamming Reddit now, but if you actually participate, there's a lot of value there. There's all kinds of Slack and Discord groups. Sales and stuff a lot of times are more personal, partnership, relationship based. And that kind of stuff is very valuable. It can also be time intensive though, which is why companies don't usually invest in it. Or some companies like shoot themselves in the foot. They're like, you can't represent our company on Reddit. Stop posting. I'm like, what are you doing? You have literally a paid workforce of advocates who work for your company. Like, let them go out and talk to people. Let them be actually involved. The ones that want to, like, let them, represent the company. Let them contribute to the community, answer questions, basically advertise for you. They want to do it already. So let them.
If you if you had to create a startup, say you decided to leave Href and go and create your own product or startup or etc., what would you do? Where would you put all your money? Where would you bet on? What channel?
Relationships to start with because I already am somewhat known. I mean, I'm niche, but I'm somewhat known. I think if I did do something like that, I'd probably grow it pretty fast, more from, my connections than anything else. Then after that, yeah, YouTube, still writing content on the website, still creating things. But really, like if I'm trying to say like, oh yeah, I made this new tool or whatever, first thing I'm doing is like telling friends. Hopefully they help me. I'm sure they would like, hey, send some tweets or like, hey, I tried this. It's great. Y'all should subscribe, you know. So just normal marketing.
Now, isn't that interesting that we've come full circle where we've gone through this tech revolution, and now we're now coming to the point where it just really does all come back to direct connections with people. Patrick, I think I'm going to end it on that point because I think that's actually a really great point to end on. Patrick has his he is organizing Tech SEO Connect in Durham, which is Durham, North Carolina, not Durham, UK. If anybody in the UK should suddenly turn up in the UK, you'd be in the wrong place. That's on December the 4th and 5th. And if you would like a ticket for that, that's techseoconnect.com. So please go along. Also, don't forget, please subscribe to IMHO, bump up my ego and my numbers, help me grow the channel. And if you're enjoying these videos, please do share them. And again, thank you very much, Patrick, for joining me as my guest today and giving your IMHO.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.